I think you'll like this next 7 Caillou challenge. It's kind of fun. It feels like maybe you're coding, a very crude version of a video game, but it feels like you're actually working on something, so that's probably nice. Tailored for absolute beginners or pretty new people. 2 fighters, 1 winner. Create a function that returns the name of the winner in a fight between 2 fighters. Each fighter takes turns attacking the other, and whoever kills the other first is victorious. Death is defined as having health less than or equal to 0. Each fighter will be a fighter object / instance. See the fighter class below in your chosen language. Both health and damage per attack will be integers larger than 0. You can mutate the fighter objects. Example, they make a fighter named Lou who does, the first attribute must be their health, and the second one's the damage. So you can see the last parameter is Lou. If you want to see what these mean, come over here and look at the parameter list, fighter 1, fighter 2, and then who attacks first. So Lou goes first, right? He attacks Harry, and Harry now has 3 health. You can see Harry's health started at 5, so we interpreted those correctly. Lou does 2 damage per turn. So he knocked Harry down to 5. And then Harry gets to attack. It's like Pokemon, right? You take turns until somebody's KO'd. Harry attacks Lou. Lou now has 6 health because he does 4 damage, but Lou has 10 health. 10 minus 4 is 6. And etc. until someone goes below 0 and is dead, and you have a winner. And you will return the winner. They show you the fighter class, so you know what you can access. All of these properties are public, so you can access them directly from your instance, fighter 1 and fighter 2. And you can see how they're constructed, so we didn't have to guess. When you scroll down, you can see the first parameter in the constructor is the name, second's the health, the third's the damage per attack. And if you went down here, you could see where these fighters are being created. So that proves we were right, but I think the example made that clear too. So I think we're ready. Go ahead, head over, have fun with this one. I think it's a fun challenge. And then I'll go into a solution now. So lots of ways you could do this. I'm going to start out by making a string. I'll call it the attacker. And it's going to start as just the first attacker. But as you can imagine, I'm going to keep looping, running rounds, as you will, or fighter turns, I should say. And so this attacker, this local variable that I declared here in my method, I can keep updating it. It'll keep getting alternated, right? So it starts out with the first attacker. When they're done, I update it to the second attacker. When they move, then I update it back to the first attacker, that sort of thing. So I'm going to use a while loop to basically run the fight until it's done. Now again, this is a really simple example. It'll just go till someone's dead. In a more realistic scenario, you might have some number of rounds where if there isn't a winner, it would go to someone who has the most points or something like that. We don't have to worry about timers or anything like that. They're keeping it pretty simple, so I'm just going to loop over. And what would the condition be, right? What keeps the fight alive? Well, while fighter 1, we saw it had a health property, right? While fighter 1's health is greater than 0 and fighter 2's health is greater than 0, right? They both have to be, because if one drops below, the fight's over. And at that point, I want to break out of my loop and just proclaim the winner. And when I do that, right, when we get out of this while loop, it means one of these two dropped below. So I'll be able to say return, I'll just check for who it was. I'll say as fighter 1's health is less than or equal to 0. We'll use the ternary operator, you know by now. And if his health is lower than 0, it means the fighter 2 won, right? Fighter 2 dropped his health. So I'll say return fighter2.name, and you can look back at that fighter class if you want to see that property again. Otherwise, return fighter1.name, right? In the otherwise case, it means that fighter2's health was less than or equal to 0. So fighter1, 1. Okay, so now the guts of it. What do we do in each turn? So let's determine which fighter is attacking based on the attacker string, right? We got to sort of convert that. We've got to identify a fighter from that, right? So we can say if fighter1.name equals attacker, right? That means it's fighter1's turn. And as you can imagine, fighter2 is going to get turns sometimes too. So it's either, if it's not fighter1's name is the attacker, then it's fighter2. There's only 2 fighters, right? So it's just if else. So when it's fighter1's turn, we want to attack, right? So we should say, we should decrement fighter2's health. Minus equals is that shorthand for that. And what do you minus? Fighter1's, what do they call it? Damage per attack, I believe. Damage per attack. And then after fighter1 gets that turn in, gets their lick in, we have to update the attacker, right? We can't just leave it at fighter1 all the time. That'd be cheating and nobody would play our game. So attacker equals fighter2.name at this point. Name's a string. And you can imagine that when it's fighter2's turn, they're going to do the same thing, except they're going to be damaging fighter1, and it's going to be based on fighter2's damage per attack, and then we'll have to switch back to fighter1 to give them their turn. And really, that should do it. So yeah, we're just kind of setting up this variable here to maintain who's attacking at any given time, and then keep fighting while both people are standing. As soon as someone drops, you're done. Let's check it out. Green looks good. Let's hit the big test. All right, green. So yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do that, right? Show me what you came up with. You know, check out. We'll get the points. Go ahead and check out what other people put in there too. I'll go ahead. I don't know that there's much else to say about this, but it's a pretty simple example. But fun. You could make a game, you know, if you made it more complicated with maybe, you know, someone's damage per turn could change over time if they get a power up or something. So yeah, go ahead and look around, see if there's anything else you can gain from other solutions. Otherwise, show me yours, hit me up with questions and comments, and we will keep rolling. Thanks for watching.